Hey, hi, howdy, and hello friends, it's Wickedy here, and welcome to my second speed clean, build, and farm tour, this time with the Riverlands Farm. And it is going to be a recreation and improvement because I do have a few farms on my Switch, like the one you see here. And I couldn't really find a way to move my Switch save over to PC, so we're going to be recreating it. Now, the farms that I do have on my Switch are mostly for my chill time and my downtime while I'm hanging out and homeschooling the kids. And the Riverlands layout is honestly probably the last on my list of plays that I like to play, so I tried to challenge myself to enjoy it. The space is just very hard to work with, which is why it's not really one that I play with all that often. Still, the farm that I have on the Switch, which I call the Lucky Ducky Farm, is just one thing away from hitting perfection, and that is getting the golden clock. So I put it on pause for a little while. Maybe I'll finish it finally. I don't know. Now, one thing that is going to make this a lot easier is using the Stardew Planner. You can upload a save if you want, import it from a save file, or just kind of like choose a different layout and start like building from scratch, which can be very helpful. I don't always use this, but sometimes when I want to set up something really nice, I will look into this and just kind of get a good overview of everything. Otherwise, I'll just take a screenshot of the farm that I have and stare at it for like 17 hours. We're going to go ahead and load up the only Riverlands farm that I have on PC and try our best to get it to where it needs to be. Now, this farm is also pretty early. It hasn't finished the community center or anything. So for this build, what I am going to be doing is using mods just to kind of get it to where it needs to be in relation with my other farm. One of the frustrating parts about the Stardew Planner is you can't move the greenhouse as much as you want. It'll load up wherever it is, but you can't move it. So here it's pretty easy to use. You can erase stuff, you can place stuff, lots of floors. You can place some stuff around and just get a good idea. I've already played around with this and have a picture of what I'm going to be working off of just to kind of get a decent layout. This is kind of similar to what I have on my farm, but I also am going to be making some changes just to be a little bit more enjoyable for myself. I'm going to add a few different things in and a layout that I think is better that I'll eventually change my other place to. Okay, loading into this farm, my Lakeview farm. It is in the fall, which is my absolute favorite season. So right now, there isn't a whole lot of anything going on. It's a very, very basic farm. I did get a lucky mushroom tree here. Very basic farm, nothing crazy. Hey cat. Mittens. Okay, with the CJB cheats menu, I'm going to be doing quite a few things. Checking infinite stamina, popping up my move speed just a little bit. We're going to be doing instant build, which is very important. We're keeping our time paused everywhere. And then one of the things that you can do with this is growing your crops and your trees like instantly. So trying to get things set up to where I want them to be. That's what I'm going to be doing with that. And then CJB Cheats menu also, they have an item spawner that I'm going to use to help me get all the things. The first thing, I've got to clear everything out and start getting everything placed to where I want them to be. So I'm going to be clearing up all the trees on the farm. Yes, even the fruit trees, because they all gotta go. Alright, and last is the mushroom tree. Bye, mushroom tree. Alright, and the Riverlands farm actually has some really nice, like, bushes and things like that. They're very good for beautification, but we are clearing these up because I just don't have the space for them. I have other things I want to place here. All right, everything's cleared up. The space is empty. We just got to clean up these crops. Then we should be good. All right, that's ready to go. Perfect. Next step is getting the buildings moved to where they need to be, and also building a bunch of things too. All right, I'm going to go to Robin's and move a bunch of stuff around and see what better space that I have to work with. All right, the whole greenhouse thing is throwing me off for a loop. I thought I could move it up just a little bit more, but I cannot. So I'm gonna have to adjust my initial plans. Now in my planner, I planned for some stuff over here, but I just gotta see if I can actually till this area. Specifically this spot. Nah, that spot's a no. Alright, originally I had the greenhouse shifted a little bit over, but I kind of wanted to throw maybe some flowers over here. I don't think I'm gonna do like a whole lot of craziness with the honey. There's just not a ton of space for honey here, but that's what we'll be doing with this area. Be my honey house spot. So there are a few things that Robin sells that I absolutely love to decorate. Well, furniture catalog, obviously, but the seasonal plants here, she sells some interesting ones. They change depending on, like, she changes what she sells sometimes. Those I decorate with a lot. She also has basic log and log section. I love to use those liberally as much as I can. So I'll probably be using those all throughout. And then there are a few different seasonal plants. I don't think you can get that from the catalog here. Let's find out. Seasonal plant. House plants. So the other seasonal plants you don't get from this catalog here. But if we open up our cheats menu here, I can show you where they are all at. They're somewhere. Just type in seasonal plants. And these are plants that you can buy normally from the night market merchant, but I love them so much. So whenever I see the night market happening or Robin is selling them here, I will pick up a ton of them because they're usually not that expensive and they're also super great because they change. Whatever they change depending on what the season is. Some of them I don't love in the winter. Oh, I love that one during the fall time. The cactus is pretty much always a cactus. And that's mushrooms. So these are all the seasonal plants plus the one that we just bought from Robin. So these are the ones that I use for decorating all over the place. And like I said, you can pick them up at the night market. They will sell that every year. As for me, I'm obviously going to be spawning them in because it's not the night market here. Okay, so as for flooring, on this farm, I have a few different flooring options. I usually like to do cobblestone's really nice, but being that we're on the Riverlands farm, I was thinking wooden floorings around would be lovely. That's what I used on my farm on the Switch. The rustic plank floor I used, but I was thinking of switching it up to the weathered floor. Although the rustic plank floor does look more like a dock or something like that. So maybe that'll be what we need. But I'm going to place a little bit of both down just to see what I like better. The weathered floor is a floor plan that you can get from the dwarf. I really love this flooring. It's really nice and rustic, but like in a good way. Not that rustic isn't a good way, but yeah, see, look at that. It looks good, but it doesn't fully match with these bridges. So let's see if this one does any better. And then, of course, there's the regular wood flooring, which I think it's just a little bit too pale. Yeah, I don't like that one. For this, so, I think I'm going to go with the rustic. No, yes, no, yes. We'll go with the rustic floor. Sorry, it's such a hard one. I just absolutely love the weather floor. It's beautiful and nice. But this is going to fit the look of everything that I'm doing just a little bit more since, like I said, I think it looks more like a fisherman's dock sort of flooring. Okay, so this farm is very limited on its space. So normally I would like to have like an area that I grow a bunch of trees so that I can chop them down for various different things. We don't really have that here. So what I'm going to be doing instead is growing hardwood trees and turning those, I turned those into wood when I needed it instead. With the limited amount of space, you really got to decide what's the most, with this area, what's the most important stuff for you. For me, on this playthrough that I did on my Switch is when I started really experimenting before I made that tea sapling video of how to make a bunch of tea saplings. And so this area was a complete patch of fiber. And I think I might still do that. I do kind of like to have like a wide area around my greenhouse and my sheds just for decorative purposes. And to kind of mix up the pathway and the floorings, I feel like it gives it a little bit more interesting. It just makes everything look better. It makes everything look interesting. Now, I love the rustic plank floor, but for some reason, I feel like if you, especially when you do it 2x2, but I feel like when it goes up and down with just a single strip, it just doesn't look as good as if you do a double, or if you go from left to right or whatever. So sometimes I just gotta play around, like I said, and choose different floor pieces. I might do a little bit of a stone pathway here. I gotta think about that one. And the same with right here, like stone and like cobblestone, just to kind of fill that out. So yeah, the original plan is to have 2 barns here and keep the coop and the shed here for all the processing and just have this island. But I realized when I'm looking at my layout, I have no idea what I'm doing with this space. So I was thinking maybe I'll move the coop over here just for a little extra space for those poor birds. So usually I put wood for my patio or my little deck, but with this one, being that I have so much wood everywhere else, we're going to be doing the stone. And then once my house is upgraded, we'll match the colors to make it look really nice. We'll just get our cobblestone / stepping stone stuff here. I'm going to throw some mushroom trees. Normally I had it over on this side, but I'm going to throw some mushroom trees down here just to kind of like, hey, this is a mushroom cave, in case you didn't know. Ah, that looks good. That looks good. Alright, starting off, we'll get this little fiber area set up. Can hold quite a bit over here. Alright, that'll grow nice and fibery eventually. Alright, this area here is going to be for all of my mahogany trees and all that such. Now normally with mahoganies, I like to let the seeds spread. But I also like to put paths in between so the seeds don't spread when I have like an end game farm and I don't need extras anymore. Now this area over here is where I'm going to be keeping my tappery. Now on my Switch, I actually have this lime hutch right here, and I feel like it just gives you just barely a path right here to get in there. So you can do that if you want. still like the dark sign, even though it doesn't fit as much with the aesthetic of the entire farm that I have. But yeah, we're gonna do a little sign for each of them just because I'm weird like that and I like it. Oh, so this farm doesn't have like a lot of space for solar panels or anything like that. And usually I would just put my solar panels on island anyways. But I am going to build a sort of power grid. Or I like to have, for some reason, I like to have the crystal flooring underneath all of my lightning rods and my solar panels. I just feel like that or stone flooring, I kind of feel like it fits a little bit better. I feel like it's like conductive flooring. I know it's not, but it feels like it. Okay, so those sections are done. Gotta work a little bit on this. Don't have a whole lot left to do with this spot, but being that I don't have all that much lightning rods, I only have a few. I like to have a bit more than that. We'll be doing lightning rods instead of hay bales for our grass starter holders. Okay, bunch of lightning rods scattered all over the place. That should be just fine. We are still going to use a few hay bales just for decorative purposes. There, that looks nice. That looks good. That looks okay. Mostly just okay. This area needs some love and attention. Okay, so we're gonna decorate this spot right here. Easiest way to do that is, of course, with a chair. In this area, I have a little bit of trouble kind of figuring out how I'm going to set this up. Being that I'm going to be having all of my worm bins up in the shed that I have right here. I'm going to probably do just a little recycling center here. Probably don't need a lot. Perfect. Okay, so that's pretty set up here. That looks good for small space. Next up, I'm going to work on my fields here. There isn't a whole lot of space for growing crops here. I mean, I could have instead of animals and whatnot, but I'm going to just be working on the little bit that I do have. On the iridium sprinklers here, these three, they all have the extender so that it can be a square of 48 instead of 24. These could water 22 total more crops, but working with the space that I have. So I'll get this area taken care of. So there's the fields. I know, it's super exciting. Okay, so there's like this awkward little spot back here. I could put some crop pots up this way, but I am actually going to plant some trees just because I really like the way that they look back here. And some tea bushes too. Okay, so we can throw some fruit trees back here. That's really nice. Let's go ahead and grow those. Ooh, I think I might want to change the trees that we have. Now on my farm, I had like 3 maple trees and 3 oak trees kind of staggered around here, but the fruit trees look good. We'll do that. All right, this area is all going to have some mushroom trees, this area here. So I gotta get them in the right spots. Always gotta have a nice little mushroomy area. I don't think I can have a farm without it. Now there is one seasonal plant that would go so perfect with all of this one right here. Since they're already kind of little mushrooms, it makes it look like these are like the little harvest baskets, which I absolutely love. Like, oh hey, we've been harvesting mushrooms and here's where they are. Only works for the fall time though. I think it's so cute. If I put him right here, all of these fields will be covered. And then I'll just need one for right around here. So I don't have to look at it. I'm just gonna put it behind. Put it behind. Oh no, let's move him over one. A way he can creep in through the horse's window. It's a little creepy, I like it. All right, let's do a couple of rows of grapes. I like the way trellis crops look like on like a little entrance area. I really like the way the amaranth looks. I think it's really pretty. And then I absolutely love the way the artichokes look. And I personally absolutely love artichokes. It's one of my favorite things to eat, favorite vegetables. Like I said, most of my money is made from my greenhouse and over at Ginger Island. I've got a ton of starfruit and ancient seeds already set up. So this is just for beautification of the farm. All right, things are starting to shape up pretty nicely. I'm liking the way things look. Let's throw some grass starters down here. I love the way that the grass looks in the fall time. Okay, so for this spot right here, this is kind of like my central area where I do all of my crafting and whatnot. This is going to be for all of my smeltery and stuff. I have this weird quirk where I like to sell everything like at the end of a season. So I like to keep a couple of chests here just for that reason, where I just kind of offload all this stuff until I'm ready to sell them all at once. Okay, with this farm, being that it's the Riverland Farm, it needs crab pots, and there's a lot of straightaways that we can actually put these crab pots on. So I'm going to fill them up as much as I can without it being like too annoying. That's what this area back here is for. It's like the perfect straight spot for crab pots. All right, 100 total crab pots placed. All right, let's do a farm tour of the place. I did my best to recreate my farm from the Switch with some improvements along the way too. Of course, right here we have our little patio, my mill, a bunch of fruit trees hanging out back behind the house, our creepy scarecrow checking out the horse, making sure that they're doing okay. Looks like we got a giant pumpkin too. I did let my character sleep a little bit so I could get to the tea season for a good shot. Then we have this field here. This looks so pretty. Like the purple and green. I think the grapes really tie it together really nice. Oh, and our mushroom cave / mushroom grove with the little mushroom baskets. They look so great. I wish they stayed mushrooms all year long, but they don't, unfortunately. This area for all of our crafting and such. I'll go ahead and switch these out. Because I did let my character sleep for a little bit, we have all of our batteries ready too. Oh, I made a mistake with my fencing. Oh well. I'll have to fix all that. The greenhouse area looks really nice. I really do enjoy this whole honey area too. Looks like a couple of wild honeys because something isn't reaching a flower. That's okay. Probably a couple over here too, yeah. For Grandpa's Grove, I decided to turn it into like a little statue garden with that crystal chair that I really have no idea whatever to do with. Because you only get one, and I don't really know what else to do with it, so that'll do. Of course, the area where we keep all of our fiber and our hardwood section, which is my main source of wood in the game. Ooh, I should let all the animals out. We've got so many pigs on this farm, and this is an ostrich farm too. It's an ostrich, duck, and pig farm here. So we gotta let everybody out so they can do their thing and destroy all the grass work that I've done. I should probably honestly switch and put the pigs here and put the other ones here so the pigs have more space to gather truffles and whatnot. Down here we have our... They're just so loud. I have the area with my 2 fish ponds and my recycling. Oh, so I don't really have like a whole bunch of space for doing my processors outside like I normally do, so I kept them all in here and I decorated this shed. I like it. I think it's nice. Keeping my worm bins in here too. All with hoppers, so I don't have to worry about doing much with these, and then I just grab stuff from my auto grabbers later on. I did put the little chicken statue in and put a bunch of wheat in some planters just because I think it looks nice. I think it looks good. 43 bait, which is definitely not going to be enough for all of my crab pots, so I should probably expand that out a little bit, maybe take away some of the other machines inside of there. We've got our back crab pots here. This will be so much better if I was to install the automate mod. Okay, down this way we have the sappery or tappery or whatever you want to call it. I like to call it the sappery, and all of my warp totems for various different places, including the mini obelisk to get back up to my central area. Can already see some adjustments that I want to do with this place. But all in all, I love this whole area right here. I love this vibe. Oh, let me check out and show you a little bit of the spot that we have down by... Oh, I can't go through there with my horse. There we go. Oh, my little duck area here. Got a couple of babies too. But I set myself up like a little fishing dock here with the mini shipping bin. It kind of looks like a tackle box. And then through the worm that you give to Willy in that quest on a sign. I like it. It's a cozy little nook. So I can hang out and wait for the ducks to jump in the water, which I'm sure they'll do eventually. This place looks really good at nighttime too. Cool, I'm gonna get a shot and then a second one once it's a little bit darker because this place really shines in the nighttime. Alright, so here is the overview of what is on my Switch called the Lucky Duck Farm. Because I usually have a whole bunch of ducks on it. They're all hiding right now, but with my character named Mallardy. I changed her name. I haven't changed the farm name yet. And I did clone this farm from my previous one just because I did want to recreate what I had already. I really like the coloration of everything. It looks pretty good. Oh, let's get that night shot. This looks so good at nighttime. Look at this. They're still going back to bed. I just changed the time real quick just so I could see it. I think I really, I love the fall colors. I wonder how this looks in the other seasons. I'd have to check it out, but it's looking pretty good right now. Now, one of the things I did learn from looking at various different posts on Reddit is about putting these lanterns outside. These lanterns can go outside as long as you put them on a table. So I just plopped down a little end table and plopped that down there just to give it a really nice ambiance. Oh, my horse cannot move through this place. I might have to do some adjusting. Oh my gosh. I like this area here. Yeah, I think it looks really good. I'm really happy with how it looks. It looks similar to what I have. Let's see if I have a shot of that. Okay, here is the photo downloaded from my Switch of the farm that I have currently and how it is. And the Switch shots are pretty blurry and sad looking, but I'd say that the pictures are pretty similar, or the general idea is pretty similar. Yeah, I mean, it's close. We did some adjustments. I moved the greenhouse over a little bit, moved where the mushroom trees are and my shed setup, added an extra shed and barn. This is pretty much the same. And same with this area here. And then instead of a slime hutch, we did a sappery and recreated the mahogany area. Fruit trees and expanded out the power station instead of having that extra sprinkler. But everything else is pretty much, yeah, it but better. I think it turned out pretty good. All in all, I really like this farm. I think it turned out really nice. I love the colors in the fall time. It is so wonderful, and I think I did pretty good for a Riverlands farm. It's definitely the farm style that I never use, but there's a couple things that I gotta fix, like I cannot get my horse through certain areas, so I might have to make some adjustments to a couple of things. Alright friends, well thank you so much for hanging out on this farm with me, this speed clean, this speed build. I'm Wickedy, and I will see you next time. Bye!